just explosion and blood and just guts and my head exploding and gone. Jayne goes out in a blaze of glory.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going back to our favorite spaceship with 3 members of the cast of Firefly. So now, without further ado, let's bring them out. Our first guest is an actress you have seen in The Magicians, Space Cases, and Stargate Atlantis. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of the ship's mechanic, Kaylee Frye. Kaylee to her friends, please welcome Jewel Staite.
Hello.
Hi,
everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am well in my corner of the world. Hope you were doing well in yours.
We're very happy and healthy over here. Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely glad. And I have to give a shout out. I will always have a soft spot for Space Cases.
Thanks. Yeah, I get asked a lot about the wig, whatever happened to the wig. And I don't know what happened to it, which is even weirder.
Oh,
who has it?
I'm friends with Peter. Well, you know, it's so interesting because I'm buddies with Peter David, the co-creator of the show, and Walter will be joining us later on this afternoon. We're doing a Power Rangers event with him.
Oh, awesome! I love him. He's so sweet.
I will ask Walter if he knows where your wig is.
Yes, ask him if he still has it.
Okay, done and done.
Okay.
Jewel, thank you for joining us. Glad to see you in good health and in good spirit. Our next guest is an actor whose credits include Full Metal Jacket, Chuck, and The Last Ship. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of mercenary and knitted hat aficionado Jayne Cobb. Please welcome Adam Baldwin.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody. Hi, GalaxyCon. Hi, Jewel. How you doing, kid?
Hi, baby. How are you?
I'm a baby with babies.
I know. Your babies aren't babies anymore. Oh, my God.
They're not babies anymore. No.
Crazy.
Adam, how are you?
Good. Healthy, strong. I've been getting a lot of sun out here in Los Angeles and looking forward to what seems like a new year.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're absolutely getting there. Like I said, we're absolutely getting there. And real quick, you still have my favorite line of all time in Independence Day.
Is that glass bulletproof?
Yes. No, sir.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Loggia. Is that glass bulletproof?
Nor have I ever been Robert Loggia.
Fun movie, fun cast, absolutely, and a great admirer of your body of work. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And finally, she is an actress whose body of work includes Arrow, Dollhouse, and Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of the enigmatic River Tam. Please welcome Summer Glau.
Woohoo!
Hey, guys.
Hello! Oh my goodness, just you are in perfect frame and perfect lighting and perfect darkness. You look like an album cover.
Put on hairspray for you guys.
Oh, Summer, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be talking to so many people at once. It's exciting.
Absolutely exciting to have you here. And real quick, I will say I really appreciated your turn as Supergirl in Superman Batman Apocalypse, the animated special.
Thank you.
I really thought that was a great job of capturing what I always envisioned Kara Zor-El Supergirl as.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It was really fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of fun, thank you for all joining us here today. As always, we here at GalaxyCon are looking forward to the day when the world is getting back to normal. And I think as a society, we see the light at the end of that tunnel. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. And we're so looking forward to hosting you again on our physical stages and getting you all back in front of your fans. But in the meantime, we had this electronic forum. So glad to have you here. Our team is going to the chat room right now to pulling out questions. In the meantime, I just like to throw this out. What is your best memory to have come out of being a part of Firefly?
Oh, man. Well, I think, I don't know how you guys feel, but in a weird way, I always tell people in a weird way that it never really went anywhere for us. We shot the show for such a short amount of time, and then we traveled the world together for the last 15 plus years. And all of our, memories have kind of come after the fact, I think. And we're a dysfunctional, crazy family that love each other a lot and support each other still. So all of my great memories and my favorite part about doing the show was meeting you guys, because I love you.
It's true. The first thing that came to mind when you asked what's my favorite memory, to be honest, was that first time we went to England together.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we didn't think anybody was watching the show. Right? And then we got there and we were like, oh my God, like people are in line dressed up like us. People actually watched the show. It was very, it was really rewarding to see that, for sure. I remember it too.
I was harking back to that first dinner we had at
the Italian place?
At Valentino.
Yeah.
It's no longer there, but it's a beautiful Italian restaurant that was there for a long time, a mainstay. And Joss took us all to dinner just to introduce us once we'd all been cast. And we all kind of went around the table saying who we were and what we were about. And I remember Ron Glass, may he rest in peace, he always said, let's just keep it about the work. And that's why we're able to make such a great show, because everyone stepped up and made it about the work. And I was so impressed. I mean, I was 40 and you guys were 20 something, barely 20. If that.
19.
And but you guys brought it. You were consummate professionals, and thank God we had Nathan Fillion at the helm, because that guy remains one of the great leaders in all of television and any show
100%.
He's on. He's a wonderful leader. And so as they say, shit rolls downhill. It didn't from him. It was more like sprinkly
confetti.
Fairy dust and confetti and balloons.
Yeah.
That's a delight to hear, because as we all know, it's not like that in all shows and all projects, stuff like that. And it's definitely credit to Ron Glass, because he, again, those years on Barney Miller, he knows about working with an incredible ensemble. And I think he was fortunate to do it again with you and your other castmates, because again, you're right. The show, I treasure the time we had. I treasure the time that it was so much way too, because it was out of left field. And it found its audience afterwards, probably in the DVD market, stuff like that. But it's still a thriving fandom. And as a fan, I'll just say this: I thank you all for your talents. I thank you for your professionalism. And I thank you for the performances you gave to these characters.
Well, thank you for caring.
We got a whole chat room of it. And speaking of, actually, we are good to go on audience questions. So let's go ahead and roll our first one. And this comes from Shaw, and they want to know, if you could write your own ending for your character, what would you like it to be?
Does that mean like ending?
Yeah, you could write whatever ending for your character on the show.
Okay. Like, how would you go out? Man.
How do you think the character would go if you had your hand on the tiller?
My God, you guys.
I think a blaze of glory and a pile of hot brass taken out.
You were going to say that.
And Reaver ships as possible. Just explosion and blood and just guts and my head exploding and gone. Jayne goes out in a blaze of glory.
God, Adam.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny doing these conventions all these years. It's like we could answer these questions for each other at this point. Don't you think?
Was that too predictable?
I mean,
you gotta give them what they want.
I know, honey. Yeah.
All right. What ending would you write for his character then?
No, that's exactly it. That's yeah.
No, that's exactly
okay. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
the only way.
In episode 2, right?
With Vera clenched to his chest,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. God, I don't know. I feel like if Kaylee has to die, it should be like super duper dramatic, where I say my last words in Mal's arms or something. And we get to see Mal finally break down.
It doesn't have to be a sad ending. Could be a happy ending.
I don't know. I feel like I like
I
that
could see
most.
Could see her being the den mother of a different ship and running that, and
maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's
den mother.
Dark. It's a dark question.
Like in later years, just growing older and just be mentoring a bunch of space kids in
and then
how
she
to be
dies.
Mechanics. No, mechanic. That's the last thing we do.
Die? Yeah, that's true. I guess, well, I mean, we hear ending and we immediately start envisioning our death scene because we're actors and we like the drama of that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the ending, it's just the ending or retirement plan.
Right, retire. Well, that's different. Retirement plan is different.
Well,
Summer, what about you?
No, I think that River would escape into a black hole and end up in a different dimension. I think that suits her. She's an explorer. She's out there. I think that she could end up in some new dimension with a series that lasts for 7 years.
There it is. There's the button.
Absolutely. Shaw, thank you. Great question to start us off with. What do we have next? Here's one from Dylan. If you could choose a crossover between Firefly and another space opera, what would you choose? And I'll expand that out that you could do this with any other television or film franchise. Doesn't necessarily be space opera.
The Star Trek count?
Star Trek absolutely counts.
I loved Star Trek. Yeah, that's a good one.
I would want to get into some sort of brawl with Captain Kirk at my back. We're Paraclete. We're fighting off some sort of desperate situation, and then William Shatner insults me.
Insults your hat.
Your hat.
Yeah, he insults my stupid head.
Good one.
Take off that hat.
Good.
Thank you.
Nice.
Well, I've hosted him here several times this year, so I've gotten to know his manners. So what else across Star? So, Summer, you be good with Star Trek?
Well, mine, I loved Star Trek growing up. It was one of the shows that I got to sneak into my parents' room and ask them to watch at 10 p.m., which I cannot believe they let me stay up that late. But I loved it. But my other favorite show growing up, besides Little House on the Prairie, which I'm not really feeling that crossover vibe, but Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Right, Jewel? That's my other favorite.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You've mentioned this. Yes.
Medicine Woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be an interesting crossover.
It works, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I would choose Mandalorian. Only because I'm obsessed with it right now. And I feel like those worlds would mesh very well together.
Yeah.
I love me some Mando.
That would be wow. That's not putting toys in somebody else's sandbox. That's literally pouring 2 sandboxes into one giant sandbox. And that would be a blast. So nice. Dylan, thank you. Very good one. What is next? From Islands. Oh, what's the craziest memory you have from your time on Firefly? Or the film?
The craziest? I don't know. What do you think, you guys? The craziest.
While we were filming, it would probably be for me it was when the Luma crane, or this gigantic techno crane, smashed off of the follow truck when we were doing the mule chase. And
I wasn't there for that. Yeah.
Apparently someone had forgotten to put a washer on the bolt that held the post with the crane on it, and it just went bam on the old Templin Highway where we were filming. And the Panavision camera smashed onto the pavement. The unexposed, thank God, roll of 1,000 feet of film went spinning along the highway, and Jack Green the director of photography, he's like, wait, what? Oh my God, is anybody hurt? Nobody was hurt, thank God. Okay, all right. Was that an exposed MAGA film? No, new MAGA film. Okay, great. So we didn't lose any film. Get the Steadicam on there. Keep rolling. We're losing the light. Boom, 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 boom.
He is so cool.
Love him.
Wow.
What a great guy.
Hanging wires and being shot in the leg, and it was that.
That's pretty good.
Wow, that was wild. That was such a fun day. That was.
You remember that thing smashing?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
I'm just thinking of just the horror of losing 1,000 feet of footage, and like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A crew of 100 riding up and down the old Templin Highway, which is up in the hills, and there's a remote location, and it was hot and dusty. It was cool.
Yeah.
But his priority, Jack Green's priorities were in sync. Is anybody hurt? No. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to business.
It's the film hurt.
Yeah.
Film hurt. Right.
Yeah.
Why film?
Absolutely. So, who's got another crazy memory that they could pin down?
I don't know about crazy, but one of my favorite memories shooting a movie was the day that we had a whole bunch of background performers that were fans of the show. Do you guys remember that day?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the sequence where we land right before the crazy fight scene in the bar. And we're saying goodbye to River and Simon. And as as we land and kind of the door opens and lowers, you see all the background performers there, and they were all asked to be a part of that scene because they were fans of the show. Oh, wow. And I thought that was really special and an amazing gift to them, and also to us, to have that weird full circle kind of moment where we got canceled and these people rallied for us, and there they were, a part of our movie that we got to make largely in part because of them. Yeah. That was a special day.
So special. You're right.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember there being people behind a gate too. We were reaching out and just shaking hands and thanking people. It was really cool.
That was cool.
It just made us feel so loved.
Yeah,
so
cool.
special.
Yeah.
There was Rosie and Susie and.
Yes.
God, you got a good memory. Yeah.
And I think their children were there. They were part of it, and Nathan was doing his sort of creepy fan stalker bit where he would disappear and he would come over and go,
Yeah. That was fun.
Nice. Summer, you got a crazy memory?
Mine was the first day that I think that just the craziest, like, I'm making a movie day was after I'd been working on my fights for so many months before the shooting started, and then the fight scenes weren't shot until towards the end of filming. So I waited for a really long time, and it gave me more time to rehearse. Doing the bar room brawl was like it was like one of my favorite dance performances. But then when I went to do the Reaver fight, I remember being super pumped for this. It felt like a performance, and I was ready. We were on set, and all of a sudden, all the stunt guys were lined up, but they were wearing their Reaver costumes, and I couldn't pick them out anymore. I didn't know who.
Right.
So I panicked because I'm swinging swords at these guys and behind my back and stuff, and I could not tell who was who, and there was this this panic moment, and then we realized that they would just call out their name, and it was almost like a song. They would call out, all right, Danny, Mike, and then I would know who to hit, who to punch, and that was really. The whole stunt crew just took such great care of me and really lifted me up so that I could do these fights myself, and then that sort of camaraderie just stuck with me that day on set. And then at the end, standing there in the middle of all of them with my axe was just
awesome.
It was Chad Stahelski was the stunt coordinator on Serenity, who went on to direct the John Wick series.
He was out of control.
A master.
I worshipped him and still terrified of him. I remember one day on the Cape, I was on a show years later, and I felt his hand on my shoulder. I looked up and I saw Chad, and I was like, I didn't know you were on this show. I was so scared.
I was really glad that they took advantage of your ballet background to really incorporate that into your fight choreography, and it showed, because it gave that etherealness to your character, which was the augmentation and everything else. That he
made it work, because he created a blend that would make it more believable for someone like me to be able to do the things that River did. I'm really grateful for that. They worked hard to.
Now I really want to see the raw footage of the guys running up to you, calling their names, so you know what to do. It's like, John, no, the other John. So, but Island, thank you. That was a great question. What do we have next? And from Adrienne. Do you have any memorabilia from either the film or the series?
I don't. I should have taken stuff and I didn't, because I didn't think you were allowed to steal things. But now I realize, to hell with the rules, and you should always steal something from the set.
It's not really stealing; it's borrowing for the future.
Okay.
This comes up a lot. I usually rephrase this question if they always say, like, did you keep it? I always say, did you find yourself in possession of anything from the show?
Find yourself in possession. I like that.
The surprise.
Yes. And I think we agreed that there's some kind of statute of limitations on props and stuff, but nobody knows how long it is. But it does exist.
The trick is to monetize it for charity. You can hoard the scripts and wardrobe things, say statue heads, whatnot, and as long as you put them up for auction for a good charitable cause, they can't really come after you.
Right.
And of course, you raised a good chunk of money with the hat for a really good cause.
Yeah. The hat and the T-shirts, and I would go around and ask the cast members and Joss and Tim Minear and the writer of each episode to sign the scripts, and I had originals with all of the updated collated pages, and we auctioned those off. The California Browncoats helped us auction those off, and we raised almost $50,000. Yeah. So it was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely cool. So and Summer, do we get an answer from you? Do you find yourself in possession of anything from the show?
I was just such a rule follower. They said you can't take anything. I mean, sure. I think I might have been able to keep my undergarments. That's about it.
Fair. I feel like you can keep those. Yeah.
Let me follow this up then. Did you guys keep any, or do you have any of the merchandise that came afterwards? Do you have your own action figures somewhere?
Yep. Got those.
Some of those.
Yeah. My child liked to give Mama Doll baths. Has Mama Doll in the bath, or he did when he was a little younger. Yeah. Big hit.
What was it like the first time you saw yourself as an action figure?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know.
That was cool. But the comics were my favorite. Even the action figures were wonderful, but I love those first comics that they did of each of our characters.
Me too. They're beautiful. Yeah.
Those are some very good stuff.
I have the original black and white sketch from the artist. That.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Well, I should qualify all this. My wife has a collection of memorabilia in my garage that she keeps stored away in the garage because I kept accumulating so much of it and bringing it into the house. She said, I'm overwhelmed. This is going in the garage now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It would start to look like Nathan's house, is what you're saying.
Well.
Nathan has a lot of memorabilia. It's all beautifully displayed
on his ceiling in his bedroom.
And how do you know this, Adam?
Yeah, how do you know that?
Just an educated guess. Love you, Nate.
I remember spending the night at his house, and he said, "You can have this guest room," and he had Malcolm Reynolds pillows on the bed, and I was like, huh, that's can't wait to rest my head on that, I guess. Sleep well. Not weird at all.
Adrienne, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? Here's one from Sherry. If you could have done one more episode, what do you wish it could have been about?
Oh, I wish it could have been about Book's backstory.
Yes.
Yes. Because that's we got to explore River's story in the movie, but we never got to explore Book's backstory. And I thought that would have made an awesome episode.
Fair.
Was he an operative? He was an operative, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an operative. But, to find out why and how that ended for him and why he walked away would have been really cool.
I think it was the corruption. It was the corruption.
It might have been the corruption, the murder.
Might have been the murder and corruption, the immorality. Yeah, all that stuff. I would have liked to. I would have liked to have met Jayne's parents or mother,
Yeah, me too.
at least, and get a tutorial on knitting.
Who would have played your mom, Adam?
Oh, that's a great question. Aaron Gray. No.
Yeah.
What about?
What contemporary? That doesn't work. Who would have been?
What about
great?
Kathy Bates?
That's who I was thinking. Kathy Bates.
Great minds.
Yeah. Of course, you realize at the end, she'd give you a sweater that your character would imply that that was going to be the new thing he'd wear.
Yeah, matching sweater.
Worn it with love and pride.
Oh.
Yeah. And going through combat with his blood-splattered sweater.
She would have knitted me a bulletproof sweater.
Yep.
So cool.
Nice. Summer, what were you thinking? One more episode.
I would love to see Wash and Zoe's love story more. I would love to know more about their past. I feel like part of what made the Firefly characters so just attractive was how rich their characters were and how much story, how much wear each character could have had. And so it's hard to choose. I'd also like to see Mal before he was, hardened by war,
Yeah.
So hard to say, but yeah, I think if we could only choose one, I would have to say Shepherd Book 2.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Sherry, thank you. Great one. And a reminder to our audience, if you would like to chat with our guests like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph, you can sign up at GalaxyCon.com. And let's go ahead and roll another one. Here's one from Michael. Did you have any input on your characters' clothing styles?
Nope.
No,
I didn't. No. It was all decided for me, and I loved every bit of it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Shauna
not
was
much.
a genius.
Did you guys?
Little things, especially for us for Serenity, just because I had to fight in the dresses.
Sure.
So
yeah.
that was tricky. The shoes had to be built and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, it was really fun.
I was fortunate enough to be able to prioritize comfort. So Jayne's clothes are very comfortable, except in the pilot episode, they were just these standard issue jungle boots, which were not comfortable. So once we got picked up, I was able to say, can we maybe switch over to Eddie Bauer hiking boots that we can adjust up? So Shauna was very accommodating there because you're spending a lot of time in shoes. Don't scrimp on footwear or bedding. That's my advice.
That's
good. It's good advice. Good life advice.
Comfort. Like I like to go to work in pajamas, basically. So if you look at Jayne's wardrobe, it's Firefly pajamas for me.
Yeah.
Fair.
T-shirts, comfy army pants,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Bauer boots.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. With some dirt.
Lots
yeah,
of dirt. Yeah.
Michael, thank you. Fun question. What is next? Here's one from Denise. What do you think your characters would be doing today? So, figure what would they be doing after a 20-year gap?
Pushing
oh my
up
God,
daisies.
20 years. Holy smokes.
Or not 20,
Wow.
but how long it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right.
About right, yeah. Now remember, humans live longer. The average lifespan, I think they said, is like 120 at that point in the future. So
I think Kaylee and Simon would be raising babies for sure.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2, maybe 3. I don't know. Gosh.
Do you think he would settle down for Simon's practice on or do you think he would stay on a ship?
I think I don't know. I mean, it would all depend on what you were doing. Because
true.
He wouldn't stray from you very far.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't last too long.
No.
Hopefully 20 years later, maybe he can leave me on my own. I don't know. I always saw River like going off on her own ship, doing her own thing.
See that?
What about Jayne?
Like I said, Jayne would be pushing up daisies.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Either that, or
9 lives would have been ran out by then.
Yeah.
Or he would have inherited his mother's little suburban home, and he's there just gardening.
He loves tomatoes. Yeah, he's gardening. Yeah.
Tomatoes, like in The Godfather, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
See that?
Now, in Heart of Gold, there was a relationship that Jayne was forming with one of the employees, and that was sort of his dream woman, and maybe they would settle down and we're having little Jayne babies and in a suburb somewhere on a remote planet with tomatoes.
Nice.
Maybe.
There you go. And
Or he's dead.
and something goes afoul in his neighborhood, and he puts on the old gear.
I thought I was out. Bring me back.
Living the idyllic life of suburbia, and then something happens.
Started.
Oh, Denise, that was a fun one. Thank you for that one. What is next? Here's one from Adrienne. If you could trade roles, who would you have liked to have portrayed?
Wash.
Mal, of course. He's captain.
Yeah. Jayne always thought he should be in charge.
Maybe book, but too old. Mal.
He almost dies all the time though. Like I don't want to.
He's impervious. He's impervious to swords.
He's impervious to a lot of things, but I don't. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to, leave the house wondering if I was going to die that day all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough because I just want to stick with Kaylee. I feel like she has the best thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fair. Yeah, it's a tough one. You can stick with what you were cast for. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, Adrienne. Fun one. What is next? And here's one from Styles. What other character that you have played would you like to see interact with your character from Firefly?
Oh, wow.
I would have some real messes on my hand.
You would. You definitely would. There'd be a fight or two there for sure.
Guys, like the River and the Terminator would be interesting.
That'd be a hot mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can meet in space.
Yeah. I think maybe the Morand sisters from the Order would be interesting to have in the Firefly world. But they're quite evil too, so River would probably have to kill them, but that's okay.
No problem.
Yeah, that'd be all right with me.
Fair.
I would say I would go with my character from Chuck, John Casey. Yeah, I think if Jayne Cobb and John Casey were in battle together, that they would be very accurate in their riflery, their marksmanship. Yeah, those guys.
Do they get along?
Well, no, not at all, because Casey's a dumbass. And
I honestly, I have a vision in my head of Jayne and Animal from Full Metal, and Jayne looking at Animal like, dude, you need to chill out. And coming from me, that's saying something.
oh, they're the same guy.
Yeah.
They're basically the same guy.
Fair. Styles, fun one. Thank you. Oh, what is next? We have one from Jaden. If you were called for a sequel or a reboot, what would you say?
I mean, yes. Obviously. Right, guys? Come on.
Well, if everybody was there.
Everybody was there. Yes.
If everybody got paid the same.
That would happen anyway. Hasn't it happened before?
I know.
Which is pretty cool, guys.
Yeah. It is pretty cool. Yeah.
So as always, if the terms were agreeable, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Of course.
There you go, Jaden. Keep writing pushing the hashtags.
Thank you, Jade.
Absolutely. From his Staler.
Oh.
Were there good places to nap on the set, and did you ever?
Oh God.
On the set.
Mm-hmm.
There were good spots for a little lie down for sure.
It was mostly the crew that napped in my room. Yeah, and they needed it. Those guys, they're always there.
Yeah.
So
At lunchtime, everyone would steal a couch or a bed, a bunk, and sleep there for sure. Yeah.
But the little area outside the sick bay was sort of a comfortable area we would gather.
That was our hang area. Yeah.
Occasionally we would doze off there, but for the most part, it was just go, go, go. We knew we were on the bubble. We had to keep going. There was really little rest.
There was very little rest. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that couch smelled really bad though.
it did.
Because of the cats.
Very dusty and
Yeah. Well, there were stray cats roaming around the fox lot, and they would come in and they would pee on the couch.
Oh my.
A faint cat pee smell in that room. So whenever I smell cat pee now, I'm like, oh, Firefly.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah.
Smells like Firefly in here. You must have a cat.
I do.
Staler, thank you. I think we have time for one more. Maybe we can go on a really fun one. From Jalen. What is the most memorable thing someone did to encourage you to follow your dreams? All right. I think this will be a good one. Go.
What's the most memorable thing someone did? God, I don't know. I think if anything, for me, it's not what someone did. It's just sort of seeing people lead by example. I think one of the ways of staying alive in this business is to be kind and to be on time and to treat your crew really well and how to lead properly. And, it's what Adam was saying before. I think Nathan has been such an amazing example of how to be a lead actor on a show and how to behave. So for me, I think it's just sort of seeing actors like that achieve their dream and achieve their status and keep working and be inspired by that, really.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, I would echo that. It would be Nathan and the example that he set. And I think I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like Nathan tweeted something recently. I think it was on his birthday. He said, you know, I don't have the life that I planned, but I'm living the life of my dreams. And he deserves that. He earned that, and he's such a nice guy that you know, he can have pictures of himself on his bedroom ceiling.
Yeah. You're right. He earned it.
He's earned that right.
Yeah, he's that nice. He's that nice.
He's clean pillows.
You know, you really made it if you have pillows. And action figures, yes, but pillows, come on.
Very fair point.
That's when you really know you've made it, Mom.
Very, very fair point.
Yeah, and I love that all of us we've all been actors, but we all have really, really different lives, and we all come from really, really different walks of life, and we've all kind of turned it into whatever has worked for us. And yeah, as a kid, I didn't know anybody who was an actor. My parents drove me out to LA, not knowing, we didn't know anybody or what was going to happen, and I don't think I would do it now. Again, like, it's crazy when you're young, the things you'll try. And I'm so blessed that my first job was with you guys, and that you taught me. Did you make me feel like I deserved to be there, even though I didn't know what I was doing at all? But you really, like, for example, Jewel's been working since she was a kid, and she's younger than me, and she was so warm. She had this confidence, but it was very, it was very warm. And I looked up to her so much.
Oh, Summer.
Each person in their own way, you know, each person taught me. And I feel so lucky that that's the set that I ended up on as my first job. And Adam, I always tell this story almost at every convention I go to, but you came to me one day on set and you said, "Kid, enjoy it, because they're not all like this." And right, I mean, I haven't had horrible experiences on any set, but I've certainly been on sets where it's like, if you're not actually working, you're on your trailer. There's not that feeling of connection and warmth. So
it's rare.
Yeah. It goes back to what Ron said, keep it about the work, and everything else will fall into place, because I think we were all good-hearted people, and we respected and admired each other's work, and that's what we kept it about, and that's what made it fun, and we had good words to say. So we have to give some credit to the words that were written down for us, because we weren't allowed to go off book.
No, we're not allowed to improvise.
We're perfect.
yeah.
But we had so much fun. We laughed and laughed and laughed every day. You know, there were the moments where it was serious, or there was something to worry about, or something had gone wrong, were so few and far between. For me, I just remember having the time of my life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Jaylen, thank you so much. That was a wonderful question. Guys, this has been absolutely wonderful. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Thanks, Patty, for moderating. You did a great job. You keep everyone high energy, and you're fun, and can't wait to see you in person soon.
Likewise.
Yeah, I can't wait to see so many of you in person. This has been a weird year of disconnect, and I miss traveling, and I miss seeing y'all, and I can't wait to do it again.
Yes, thank you guys. Be well and keep the faith. We will be together again.
Actually, on that note, June 18th through the 20th, we're going to Washington State for the Summer Con, Washington State Summer Con. So we get to travel again. Looking forward to that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Where's that? Puyallup? How do you say that?
Puyallup.
Puyallup.
There you go.
Puyallup. It is my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Once again, thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thank you for all those great questions. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.